Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It is April 23rd, 2022, and it's Saturday, so it means That Dad Guy answers all your questions from the week. And there's been quite a few of them, which I'm glad. I'll have a few things, varied topics per normal. I really like the fact that we're not doing it by topic like we started to do, that it evolved into something much better, that now we can just answer questions as they come. I think this way you get a better variety in your video. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I've been getting some feedback and people seem to be enjoying it. So we continue to go. So thanks for liking, subscribing, and commenting. And here we go. The first question comes from Wendy Billing, and she wants to know about board games, the ones that I played when we were home, the ones you played now with the kids and as an adult and friends. We're a house that loves games, loves cards, and growing up with my parents, we had games like Rook and Pit, which are fun adventure card games. We also played board games, whether it was Trouble or Sorry. We had the Underground, which was a game we had that came from England about the British Underground in London. We had that. We played games like Clue, Monopoly, of course, Risk. Those were games we played growing up. And with my children, I collected the game of Monopoly even before kids, so I have a whole bunch of sets, but most people don't want to play it because it takes too long. So they kind of collect dust downstairs. But with the kids, we did play things like Mousetrap, which I really didn't like. It took too much setting up for the amount of game it actually was. We had the Game of Life, but we played lots of cards. Certainly played cards with my in-laws and still continue to do, like Canasta and I don't know, with the kids we did like Crazy Eights and a variety of different ones, Uno. So yeah, lots of card games, lots of board games growing up, but we've developed into a card family. We have other friends that are into games too, and they have a variety of them. So whenever we're lucky enough to get together with them, they usually show us some new ones. So I'm happy about that. All right, so thank you, Wendy, for that question. Let's see, what do we have? All right, my brother Eric in Toronto, and you're mailing postcards and letters at your super box at my house. Does the postal carrier that, excuse me, that dropped the mail off take the outgoing mail with them, or does someone else drive around and pick up that? So, yeah, that's a good question. So as a mailman, when you get to a super box, or one of these community mailboxes, the first thing you do, there's a barcode. When you open up the big panels, we don't open up the individual slots, we open up the whole panel, and there's a barcode inside of it, and with our scanner that we have to scan that to say we've cleared it. So clearing it means we've taken all the outgoing mail that's in there. If people have returned the parcel compartment keys to the outgoing slot, we put them back in the boxes, and that shows that we've cleared that box. And then we go ahead and we sort all the mail into it that we have for the day. So yeah, we do the outgoing and the ingoing when arriving at the box. And because we scan it, it keeps track of the ones that we do. So if we were to get to the end of our route at the end of the day, when we go to upload our scanner, if there was a barcode we hadn't scanned along the way, it would make us go back and get it. So yeah, that's what the routine is there. So thanks, Eric. That's just a comment. We'll skip through that one. Sorry, just perusing quickly to find out which one is questions and which ones are just comments on the video. All right, here's one from Smokey Tennyson, sorry, Smokey Tennyson. So maybe he lives in Tennessee, in the Smoky Mountains. He says, hope you're having a great day. I hear you mentioned doing postcard swaps. Are you finding those on postcard forums, or you generate them in other ways? So, yeah, I generate all my swaps through people that contact me after watching videos like this, or through my Instagram account. People send me messages, DMs there asking to do swaps and exchanges. And I have some through official Postcrossing that know that I'm R Lennox on that, and they send me a message in there if they want to do swaps. So that's how I do it. I haven't really been doing the forums. It may be something I'll get to one day, but right now the way I'm doing it is keeping me busy, because some weekends I'm doing like 20 cards out, so it does keep me busy. So thank you for that, Smokey Tennyson. Julie Norman in Montana in the US says, did you see the Ukrainian post office has released their new stamp? I tried to purchase, but the pages didn't load for me, but they look really neat. I think this might be the new stamp of the Ukrainian soldier on the banks of the river that is flipping the bird, shall we say, or giving the middle finger to a Russian warship. I believe it's the Moskva that's recently sunk. I have seen that. I know that those stamps are selling very high priced on eBay now if you want to buy them. And the Ukrainian post office has been overwhelmed with orders for people looking for them. Would love to see it show up in the mail here and be able to present it to you and then put it in the collection for my father. But probably highly unlikely that that's going to happen. But I have seen it, Julie. I know it's out there, and I hope it's generating not only some funds for the post office there, but also great support for the Ukraine. So thank you, Julie. All right, Johan Y said, I'm Orthodox, so we celebrate Easter next week, which is today. They're celebrating Easter. What are first day covers issues? Are they just collector items or do they have real stamps? I notice they cost more than a regular stamp. So yeah, first day issue is an envelope that tells the story of the stamp, probably on the back. It might have some extra imaging on the front about it. And the real actual stamp is in the corner of the envelope. So you get it's the first day that it's issued, this comes out, but it is available after that. So you get the new stamp, you get the story of the stamp, and you get it on an envelope as it would be presented if it was in the mail. So typically they cost about $1 more than the actual stamp. And they are a collector's thing. It's not something you would mail as is. I mean, people have done that. But I think it kind of ruins it if you go ahead and write all over the envelope and put it in the mail. So thank you, Johan Y, for that. All right, here's one from Basil in India. And he says, at the start of the week, I received 8 incoming mails, and only ones, unfortunately, for the week. One of them was registered envelope. Now, the registered post mail prompted the postie a question. All right, so this is his question. Our postman forgot to take one of our signatures at home to acknowledge the receipt of the registered envelope. So he came back later and he took the signature. Okay, so at least he made up for his mistake and he came back. It says, has such an incident ever happened to you? Maybe you forgot to deliver registered mail to a certain residence and then had to go back the same day or within the next period of time. I'm going to say no, it hasn't happened to me, because what we have to do is there's a barcode on every item, and certainly every item that has a signature. So we have to scan that item and either say that we're going to put it in the community mailbox or we left it at the front door as a safe drop-off. But if it has a signature, it prompts us that we can't do anything more until we get the signature. So you scan it, then you have to go up to the signature area. Now with COVID, things are a little bit different. We have a button on it that says verbal signature. So we click on that, and then when the client comes to the door to get the mail, we hand them the mail, and then we write in the initials and do a signature for them. So that's how it's done currently. If you go to a retail post office, they may get you to actually sign on the board or on the machine, because they can keep a safe distance away when doing that. So it hasn't happened to me, just because we have things in place right now that won't let us. Now, that doesn't mean that errors haven't occurred. There are people out there that deliver the mail that would bypass that. And what I mean by bypasses it is that they could scan it, it could ask for a signature, they could write in the signature and then leave it in the community mailbox or at the front door. So it has happened. Those people that want to be dishonest find ways of being dishonest. And I'm sorry that it does happen within the postal system. And you guys know that it happens within the postal systems. I read the complaints of people that have parcels that go missing, have been opened. And yeah, it does happen. Unfortunately, not everyone is kind and nice and respectful of their job and other people's properties. And those people do get punished if they get caught. So I've seen lots of people that get fired for stealing from the post office and such not. So thank you, Basil. Heavy topic, but I'm willing to tackle it if you're willing to ask it. All right. What do I have left? I got one more. It's from Melanie in Montreal, and she says, what do you do with the hooray, your postcard has arrived emails you receive from Postcrossing? Do you keep them? Do you reply to some? Or do you go, and separate question, do you go to the forum section? If so, what topics do you like? All right, so let's go back to the hooray, your postcard has arrived emails that we get from Postcrossing. Generally, yeah, I save them in my, that I've received them. If there was a question from the person that received, I usually try to write back and answer their question. Maybe they ask to do a swap or something in that, so I would respond. Otherwise, I don't respond. If they just say, thank you for the card and the stamp, and I hope you're having a great week, I just take that for what it is, that they've received the card, and just acknowledging it by registering it, and I move on. But all those emails are kept within my email folder. So I do reply to some. As for the forum section, I have stated this a few times. I've visited once, but I haven't yet joined any of the topics or done any of the games and things like that that are out there. I just haven't had time to get involved with that. Or, you know, I'm part of a few post-crossing groups through Facebook. I generally say hello to new people, and sometimes people reach out to me to do swaps, and that's great. But I haven't been overly active in those. I just haven't found that I have all the extra time in order to do it. So that's what we have. That's this week's questions. So as always, if you have questions for me for next week, leave them in the comments of this video, and I will answer them next Saturday. Hopefully you've had a great week. You're going to enjoy a wonderful weekend. And for now, stay safe. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?